welcome to the Man United show. We are live, and it's the Man United versus Burnley preview. We have to say there is no Nathan Ellen tonight. He has been struck with an illness. We won't mention what illness, but he's not well tonight. So we're wishing him all the best. Get well soon, Nathan. I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you on Thursday. But I am joined by my guest, Garth. How you doing, Garth?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yourself?
I'm good. Now, usually I'd be sitting with Nathan and he'd be worried, even with the Burnley game. So, away from home, Burnley on a Tuesday night, can they do it is the question, Garth.
What, can Man United do it? Maybe. Well, look, do you know, I was reading the stats, and it's always the classic. They've won one game against Man United, Burnley, in the last 14.
Don't you hate them stats, though, because it's like...
Oh, cool, yeah. Of course.
It's like it's ready to happen again. It's like when they say this team has not lost to this team in over 50 games, you're like, well, that's the end of that record. Cheers to that, mate.
Yeah, they're missing some key players as well. They're missing that Cornet, ain't they? However you pronounce it, Cornet. Okay. I believe. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it all points to us getting beat. Obviously, the law of averages. You know what I mean? Now, listen, they're rock bottom of the league. They've got some injuries to players. Their new striker looks a bit tasty. Like, he might be an undercover fantasy league buy. That one might be. I'll tell you, he's got one in two.
What's his name?
Waghorst. Yeah. He's got 1 in 2 for the last 6 years in Germany. So one goal in every 2 games. But again, look, they're rock bottom, man. We've got a squad that should smash them apart. So I've got to go confident. I'm confident. I've got to be. I shouldn't be, because we've been playing awful recently. But
all right. We'll get onto that. We'll get onto the nitty gritty in a minute. But first of all, we're going to get to the team news. Man United's team news for tomorrow. Definite absentees are Fred and Telles. They are out with COVID. But Raphael Varane looks like he could be fit to play, even though he did come off against Middlesbrough. Jesse Lingard and Cavani are back in contention. So add additional striking options up front. And Victor Lindelof, who's ill last week, and Eric Bailly, he returned with an ankle injury. Rumours went around that he returned with a neck injury, but it didn't quite make sense. He's not playing American football. I don't know where that came from. Where the rumour that Eric Bailly had a neck injury came up with a swollen neck. No, it was a swollen ankle. So that's the team that's Man United. Off the back of that, you happy that Lingard's back? There was first of all, let's touch upon the Lingard and Rangnick situation, where it was what was it, Anthony Martial 2.0 the other day, where Rangnick says one thing and Lingard says the other. What's your thoughts on that, Garth?
Do you know what I like about it, before we get into this? And you said this about like it feels like a lot of the Germans in football are very upfront. What I like about what Rangnick's done, he's very upfront. He said his piece, and then the grudge is gone. There is no grudge. You're back in the team next week. He said his piece. He said what he needs to say about you. It doesn't matter anymore. He's not going to get into a spat with the player. I tend to believe the manager on these situations, just because, you know what I mean? Like, you've just got to, at this point in time, you've got to. And, I understand, like, Martial not so much, but Lingard I understand. He's been poorly treated by a club that he's been with, since he was 6, 8? Something like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. We should have let him move. I know circumstances prevented that, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you can understand why he's got a little bit of a gripe.
Yeah, we better give him minutes, is all I'm going to say. And we're going to need to, not just in Matter as well now. With us not getting anyone in the transfer window, we're going to be putting a lot of work on some young kids and some talent that we could be losing at the end of the year, like Cavani, Matter, Lingard. So...
Do you think there's actually a spot in the team for Mata? I know he came on the other day against Middlesbrough. Do you feel like there's a spot in the team just from now to the end of the season? Yeah,
there 100%. All it's going to take is one injury. Obviously, with us losing Martial, and obviously with the Greenwood situation now, that's 2 of those that we were talking about having so many up there. They're gone. You know what I mean? Like, if Lingard doesn't perform, Mata's the next in line. We've got Elanga, Rashford, Cavani, Ronaldo, Sancho. You know what I mean? Only 3 of them can play that wing position, really. And I like Mata. I think Mata, till the end of the year, is definitely he brings a calmness to the game, if you know what I mean, that Man United needs sometimes, especially in that attacking transition from midfield. Nathan was talking about the other week, someone who can pick that ball up in between the midfield and attack, who isn't Bruno Fernandes, you know what I mean, who can calm the ball down instead of looking straight for the big pass, the Hollywood ball. So
do you think he'd work well with Bruno Fernandes in there? I don't know how it would work with the two players behind him, but do you think it would work well with a Mata and a Fernandes?
On paper, yeah, you'd think it would, because Mata and Fernandes are both the sort of players that you see it in any level of football. When you get people who've got the flair, they like to play with each other. You know what I mean?
It's a bit like that Spider-Man meme photo. Where each other.
They do, though. You know what I mean? They're on the same level. Whether in practice it would work or not is a different matter, because obviously Mata's problem has always been he's a right winger who hasn't got no pace, really. You know what I mean? So I don't know whether it will in practice. In theory, yeah, why wouldn't it? You know what I mean? They're both skilled, classy footballers, especially as you're presuming Pogba's going to be playing behind them now as well. You know what I mean? That triangle on the pitch, that's something special. So
that's one thing we've got to get into now. Paul Pogba came back in against Middlesbrough. Is it a player that you feel was missed?
What, that Paul Pogba dominating the midfield, charging through players, brushing them off like he's Jonah Lomu on the 95 PlayStation. Yeah, we missed that Pogba, mate. We missed that Pogba big time, mate. The problem is we miss him a lot of the time when he ain't injured as well, that Pogba. You know what I mean? So, look, that Paul Pogba is an amazing footballer. What a player. Class, like just pure class, you know what I mean? But you don't see it enough for a player of that quality, you know what I mean? He ain't David Dunn, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be pulling up.
That is a name from the history books.
You know what I mean? Like a bit of class once every like. Show my age. Show my age.
David Dunn was one of them players, that was like when you watched him play when we was younger, we was like, you know what? I'd like him in my team. You know, he's got the flair. He can pass. He's got a bit of it all. But when it came back down to it, it didn't ever feel like it was enough. When you really, if you had him weren't happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. You don't want that from Paul Pogba. You need more but that Paul Pogba. Yeah, if we got that if he's playing for a contract somewhere else and we get that till the end of the season, play him as much as you can. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I hear that. Before we move on, before we go into the next section of the show, please, if you are watching on Twitter, come over to KS1 TV on YouTube, smash that like, smash that subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you change the settings so we can see who you are and you're not just an egg. We don't mind talking to eggs, but all it says is Facebook users. I don't want to see names, all right? So come over to KS1 TV, smash that subscribe button. Trying to get them subs up as well. Love the support, appreciate it as well. And smash that like as well while you're watching. And if you are watching on YouTube, I want to see what you've got to say in the comment section. So join us now, all right? So we do predicted lineup first. So give us your predicted lineup for the game against Burnley tomorrow, Garth.
De Gea in goal, obviously. Dalot right back. Shaw left back. This is where it's going to get interesting, though, because before AFCON and Lindelof's injury, Maguire was dropped. For all intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, he was dropped.
And now he's done all since he's come back.
Not well enough to displace Lindelof, I don't think. This is what would be interesting tomorrow. Like when I wrote it down, immediately I put Maguire. But if Lindelof's fit, I got a feeling you might see Maguire back on the bench. So I'm going to go Lindelof and Varane at the back if Lindelof's fit, which I think he might be. So, and if not, Maguire and Lindelof. But yeah, I'm going Lindelof and because Maguire done all right, but he definitely hasn't like pulled up trees. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh wow, he has to play. He's so good. We miss him. You know what I mean? So no,
I think when he first came back in, it was a bit like, oh, you can kind of see why he's not been playing still. Like he's still a bit shaky, a couple of off passes, and it was just it was the first game he came back in against. I think he was already winning it. I can't remember.
Yeah, he come off the bench. Yeah, he come off the bench. Was that Brentford?
Yeah, it's Brentford. It was Brentford. I think it was Brentford. Or the last game before the cup game. He came back. It was like, he looks all right, but he doesn't look... He's made a couple of errors. I'm not trying to be picky or anything, but he doesn't look like that rest has been long enough, it felt like. Carry on. What you got?
Yeah, I'll stick with that quickly. It looks... Not just that the rest weren't long enough. It's such a shame to say it, because I like him as a player. he just ain't good enough, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's harsh, man. It's really harsh to say about a player. And I can't play football, so I shouldn't really talk. But I just don't think he's got the required ability level to be playing week in, week out as Man United, especially as Man United's main centre back. But now, even as the second centre back, the Lindelof or like, I feel like Jones has showed more in the 70 minutes you've seen Phil Jones play than the required. But anyway, yeah. Into the midfield, I think obviously if we know Fred ain't there, it's got to be McTominay and Pogba, hasn't it? I'm guessing in the centre. I can't see, like, obviously what else is there? Hannibal. I can't, I can't see anything else coming in there.
No, he does like the look of him, but it's not too early. It's too early.
And it's a must-win game for us as well. We have to beat Burnley for confidence level. It ain't just about the 3 points. It's losing to Borough like that. And we played all right. Like 16, we could have been 5-0 up, but you've got to put them games to bed. McTominay, Pogba, Fernandes in front of them. And then I reckon Rashford, Ronaldo, and I reckon we'll go back to Elanga, put Sancho back on the bench, even though Sancho played really well. I reckon because of Elanga's miss in the penalty shootout, I reckon, and he's been playing Elanga the last few games, I reckon Elanga starts.
He has been playing. Do you feel that the manager will go for Elanga over Sancho, though, considering Sancho did have a good game the other day?
Yeah, I think Elanga's got like 2 more games before Sancho asserts his dominance and just takes the position back. It's one of them ones. It's inevitable. Unless Elanga just plays like 1-2 goals or assists a game for until the end of the season, Sancho's talent on the training pitch and when he gets his minutes going to shine through and he'll take that spot. So I think it's just Elanga's done nothing wrong. He's been playing well. There's no reason to remove him for Sancho right at this point just because Sancho had a good... Did he play the full match, Sancho, or did he come off? Whatever it was.
Pretty much the full match, I think it was.
Didn't it? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, was he still on whatever it was, just because he played that game and he played all right. That's it though. Again, you know what I mean. The whole team didn't we couldn't finish our dinner. So
well enough. Yeah,
exactly.
I heard that.
So yeah, a bit like Maguire. I don't think Sancho's done enough in one game to remove Elanga from that spot. You know what I mean? So
fair point. And up top,
Ronaldo. Sorry, yeah.
Cristiano. Yeah, sorry. For some Man United fans, it may go without saying that Ronaldo's at the top, but there's also Cavani as well. Yeah,
people. I won't lie. There is a subsection on the Twitter and on the social media that would like to see Cavani start instead of Ronaldo, and I see their point because you're getting more guile. Is that the right word for it? Out of Cavani, more effort's the wrong word. He puts himself about the pitch more than Ronaldo does. But no, I mean. Look, Ronaldo's been playing poorly. He still scored 14 goals in 24 games. So, like, he starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
all right. We get on to the key player. Before we go on, big shout out to Con Marble Halls. We're going to see him tomorrow on the Arsenal show. Go and give him a subscribe as well while you're here. All right, where are we? Give us your key player from the predicted lineup you've put out there.
Yeah, against Burnley, it's got to be Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, key player. Yeah, Paul Pogba. He can bring something completely different to that midfield that we are lacking, which is that he's erratic on the ball. For some reason, Paul Pogba loves to try and hold up 3 men. I don't know why, but just loves to, get the arms out and hold them up, and he loses the ball. It happens. But when he's on form like he was the other day and he's putting through balls from all angles, he's seeing passes before and runs before they're made. At times, he's a combination of like Paul Scholes and Patrick Vieira at times. So that's what you want from him at all times. You know what I mean? He can ping a pass. He can bully players off the ball. And that's what I mean. If he's like that, key man every game, especially for whoever he plays for. You know what I mean? And tomorrow especially, I think he's got something to prove. You know what I mean? I think it's offended him that some fans are like just taking it for granted. Like he should sign for Man United again. Like he just should. You know what I mean? And that's not how it works. You know what I mean? So yeah, Paul Pogba for me, key player.
Paul Pogba. A bit on Paul Pogba. The fact that he's leaving. A bit disappointed that Man United didn't strengthen in the January transfer window in that key central midfield position.
Yeah, if Paul Pogba doesn't if Paul Pogba decided, sulking's the wrong word, but you know what I'm trying to say. If he weren't playing up to scratch, then yeah, we're in trouble. But it shows a lot of faith in Paul Pogba and Man United that they don't want to. I understand Man United's position. You know what I mean? We've got players like Paul Pogba, Matic, Fred, McTominay. You know, we've got 4 quality midfielders that can play there. They don't want to sign another midfielder that when the new manager comes in the summer, it's like, no, I don't want that.
Not want him. Yeah.
No, that's not who I want. You know, like that's not the player I need. That's not how we're going to play. And then it's another 40 mil down the drain. We've got Donny van der Beek on loan already. Like, so I understand their position. Yeah. Of course, I would have loved to have seen some reinforcements. Of course, I would. You know what I mean? But
do you think there's a small hope that Pogba might stay at the end of the season and sign that new deal?
Yeah, because we're still only one of even on a free, there's only 4 or 5 clubs in the world that can afford Pogba. You know what I mean? That can actually be like, here's the money for him. Like, you know, like, so, of course there's a small hope. But again, the problem is do we really want to get hope that Paul Pogba is going to play like he did last week for the next 6 years of a 500 grand a week contract? You know, I mean, like,
yeah.
I would love to see him do it. I would love to see him do it. I just think that Man United are in a state where they need a consistent 6.57 out of 10 player every week instead of a 5 some weeks, a 10 other weeks. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? We need to steady the ship. And as great as Pogba is, I personally don't think it will be as devastating a loss as some people think if we get the right replacement in for him. You know, if we get
a centre midfield. That's the key words. You said the right replacement, and that's one thing that Man United hadn't been doing with their recruitment over the last, it feels like since Ferguson left. We only done the show the other day where we look at the names, and they're Galacticos, a lot of them names, or even playing for some of the best clubs in the world at the moment. But were they the right fit? Were they the right player under the right manager? Did they get the right amount of time? There's so many issues there.
That's my exact point. Like, people would like, because Pogba's he's irreplaceable. There is no player like Pogba. And Pogba's not like other players. He's irreplaceable. So I'm not talking about going out and getting, I don't know, Verratti. You know what I mean? I mean, really consider what you need in there for the next couple of years. Like, really consider what we've got a McTominay, so we've got a battling box to box ish midfielder that can play back up. We've got a Fred. Like, what do you need? Apparently, we don't need a Donny van der Beek style player. So obviously, it's Declan Rice. You know, but I mean, that's a different conversation, obviously. But yeah, it all comes down to who we replace him with. But for now, I think Pogba can be an absolute massive asset for us to challenge him for top 4 at the end of the season.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Any player of that quality is going to be an asset for any club in the Premier League. Let's get to the predicted score. Give us your score prediction, Garth. And I want Nathan Ellerton style detail in this. Like you're writing a movie script. Nathan's not here, but we can bring the Nathan spirit to the show. All right, let's go. And action.
All right, so it's going to be 3-1 to Man United. Burnley score first. We don't score until the 70th. Yeah, you wanted the movie script, didn't you? You wanted movie script. We've got it 1-1 until the 89th, where we score 2 goals back to back.
Take the scene. Toughmore, 1-0 down. Rain.
Lightning flashes over the crowd.
Ronaldo's looking down at the ground. A bead of rain drops off the end of his nose. He looks up. There's a Burnley fan swearing, giving him the middle finger. In slow motion, he says, "You're done."
So you can see there, guys, what you wanted.
Oh, mate, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Do you want me to finish stuff for you?
Yeah, look, I'd love to say a clean sheet. We should get a clean sheet, but we haven't in one game in the last God knows how long. So 3-1 Man United. I think
what you won't do, score from a corner.
I was just about to say that. I think Ronaldo scores. I think Rashford scores, and either Elanga or Sancho, whichever one plays. I think the 3 front men score. Definitely, whichever the 3 front men are, they score.
I don't know what happened there. I'm sure he's going to be back in 2 seconds. Hi, guys. Yes, Stephen. Good to see you there, mate. You're coming back. I can feel that you're coming back. You're coming back. You're nearly there. You're nearly there. You're nearly there. There you are. You're back. All right. All right. So you got to the front three. Any of the front three will score.
Yeah, I think all three of them will. I think all three of them. I think 3-1. All three of them will score. So, but yeah, the corners. Yeah, like it's a funny thing. It sounds like a joke, but as a football club, you need to stop be worrying about them stats because we've only scored 1 goal from any dead ball situation. Like I'm guessing that excludes penalties. So any free kick, any corner, 1 goal all season. That's like that's really poor.
How many corners did you say it's been since they've scored?
It's definitely 100. Like it's 125 around there. Like it was 117 before the last game. So, so I didn't feed the hamster, mate. They weren't the meter. I hadn't fed the hamster.
Where he disappeared to was giving it one of them.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
All right. So how many? Sorry, how many corners has it been since you scored?
About 125 around that number. Mid 120s.
That is worrying. That is worrying.
It's a madness, mate. That's a madness. Specifically when we signed, obviously that Ramsey.
Ramsey. Yeah.
Yeah, the specific set piece coach. And I saw a stat the other day. Like, don't hold me to it, but it looks like we've conceded more from set pieces since he took over, and scored a lot less from set pieces since he took over.
Maybe it's like spring cleaning. Like it's got to get a lot more messier than it gets clean again.
Yeah.
You better hope.
Yeah. But yeah, you usually see light at the end of the tunnel when you're doing that. There's usually something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's a silly stat for me. Like, especially when you're talking about like Harry Maguire, who's meant to be like a, you know what I mean, smash it in, smashing it in with his head, with his, you know what I mean. Never does it for Man United. Never.
Yeah.
Like weird.
I know what you mean. There's definitely Man United. Maybe tomorrow against Burnley away from home. Ironically, could be the one game, the first game in 124 attempts you score from a corner.
Yeah, you know.
You never know. All right. That is all we have time for. Garth's gone for a 3-1 prediction. As I said, like a movie. If it happens like that, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Especially the bead of rain. Because I was setting the scene there myself. I'm a filmmaker, if you didn't know. I was setting the scene. And I felt that was immense. I felt I was there. All right. 3-1, Ronaldo, Rashford, and Elanga to score. Paul Pogba to be the key man there. Maybe he could put a smile on a few Man United faces tomorrow. All right. Thank you for joining us today, Garth.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Pleasure as always.
All right. And thank you, everyone who's joined us. Absolute madness, what's he saying? Absolute madness. How bad United are with players they have. Yeah.
You know that. Yeah.
We know. Yeah. We know. They're not using all their tools. All right. As I always say, please smash that like and subscribe. If you are watching on Twitter or on Facebook, come over to KS1 TV and smash that subscribe button. Change your settings on Facebook. Otherwise, I will be talking to an egg. And other than that, if you are watching on KS1 TV, smash that subscribe button, press that share and press that like. Thank you for joining us, people. We've got the Burnley post-match reaction live at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully, Nathan should be back. Hopefully, he's feeling a lot better. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.